I think my biggest realization in marketing as I think about the false struggle that I continually got stuck in is I actually never really insisted that we got the damn story straight. The false struggle is the real struggle. It's
the real struggle is that we all get stuck because they're like, oh, go drive demand, go feed sales, go feed sales. But there's no step back. Let's think about us as a portfolio. Let's go test some of that differentiated portfolio marketing. Then let's start tearing it down to the prospects. Like, they're not doing anything.
Or
the foundations are there.
Because it's easy to say, just go get leads, do email nurture, and then score them, and sales will call them. Yeah, so, I started Elevate actually at the start of this year. I actually come from in-house. It's most of my career, and as I was doing in-house, I started to realize I came from a lot of companies where just growth wasn't fucking easy, man. Like, it was really like just pushing a boulder up a mountain, and everybody got stuck on really all the wrong problems. And, I went through that whole debacle as, I watched as companies strategically went from lead gen, then we all went all in on account-based, and we were changing strategies every 6 months, and we went from demand gen, we did brand creates demand, and we did all this shit. And during that journey, I kind of realized, well, one, growth isn't just something you do. A lot of companies think they just need product market fit to go out and grow, and then marketing just does a bunch of tactics, and it's not really how it works anymore. It used to work that way a decade ago, and I just have looked as marketing teams focus all their attention on all the wrong problems. All right, man, here we are, Elevate HQ. So after this, we'll head over to Centerbase. They are one of our clients in the B2B SaaS. They're here in Dallas, actually. So we're gonna go hit them up after this. We're gonna meet a guy, Evan Bennett, who's the VP of marketing there. We're gonna meet his team and kind of do a strategy session around messaging, because that's really how we tackle every problem, honestly, is a messaging problem. So it's kind of sad, because I think about, if anybody else was probably working with them as their agency, they would tackle it as a tactic problem. So yeah, we'll go check out Centerbase, and it's interesting because I look at them and they're the perfect example of the type of customer that we work with, which is they're a niche-driven SaaS company, which we love. They're in the B2B space, actually. This is where we do all the video. So I just got this little office right here that we do everything from. This is where we do highly questionable marketing. And that's kind of it, right? Like the fundamentals are where a lot of marketers are, right? Like this whole thing I keep talking about is product market fit is no longer enough because there's too many companies now in each category, right? Yeah. So what people used to do is that like the revenue error is the same thing. Product market fit, cool. Now go do field, go do ABM, right? And tactical hell, basically. That's what I keep calling it, tactical hell, when in the reality is the only way now, if categories are getting crowded, you can stand out, is market message fit. And that's what it's all about, having a differentiated message to go to market with that no other brand does.
I think it's evolving that message, right? It's like, I think people actually just get comfortable. Like they find market message fit and then they never evolve it, Ooh. And then it becomes stale, and then you're still running the same tactics, expecting the same return, but it's just kind of gotten stale.
The problem is too, like why this used to work a decade ago, that a lot of people don't talk about, is a decade ago there was a lot of new channels forming that you could go in and invest in cheaply, and the new channels are not forming.
LinkedIn was a new channel and everybody was like, let's do LinkedIn. Like I remember when LinkedIn was a new channel.
Yep.
I remember that. Fun.
Yeah.
It's like the cool new place for you to find revenue growth. Like we don't have those anymore, really.
I mean, even like TikTok already is beyond emerging, right? Like they're already, in my opinion, but there isn't, right? There's not a bunch.
Yeah, they're like a mature social media site now.
Yep. Yep. So, cool. I think we'll have a fun. We're gonna have a fun revenue discussion. I'm good. This is Derek, actually. if you want to know, he worked at a company. They were actually my biggest client. One of my first, like a year and a half ago. Yep, I worked with them for over a year. It's all right. Everybody can see the Centerbase office now. For some reason, I remember going that way. I don't remember, but now, back there.
Yeah, so two things really. One, what everybody will say, and I think it is true, right? Like we've gotten the most value and the most understanding of our market, our niche market, that is a pretty complex one, right? It's almost kind of like we're selling to engineers, or the example I used again, medical. I've never lived the life of someone in a law firm, and I didn't go to law school, and neither did 99% of our company, yet here we are trying to sell to them and empathize with them. It's cliche, but talking to customers, listening to the words they use, the way they frame things, reading the content they read, understanding what their day-to-day job is like, and just spending time in the weeds. There's no like magic formula or potion. I think in order to have a good ad, you have to, or a good product market fit or message fit, you've got to understand the context of where they're coming from, or you're gonna sound like tone deaf, or like, I don't know if it's a PC analogy, like ESL almost. Like, I get what you're trying to say, but it's like, they can immediately tell that I'm BSing them.
I looked at his fucking right pillars, and I'm like, this is all tactics, right? Go do field, go do demand, go do ABM. I'm like, this is the same old bullshit, right? Just packaged up as revenue. This isn't anything new.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where I'm coming from at it too. Like the revenue era is kind of a real thing, but it's also incredibly shallow waters, right? Because it's just that companies, surprise, surprise, companies still want to make money.
Yep.
You know, it's like the revenue era. Well, when was it not about revenue? You know, and when were tactics not optimized for revenue? Like this is so. But I think there was something, you know, like what I will take it to too is the first time I heard revenue era was when David Cancel presented the repositioning of Drift to the revenue acceleration platform. And that was the first time I heard that kind of phrase, the revenue era. I don't know if Drift gets credit for it. I'm going to do a little more research to see if they do. But the bigger point there for me is that this was part of a narrative that came out of COVID because companies needed revenue more than ever. And we as marketers have mistaken it to be this thing that is about how we do marketing.
You know, you said something that made me realize as we were talking about Drift, because, you know, I'm with you on that. And you said something with the dark social thing, and this gets back to, right, the message is everything, market message fit.
Narratives.
Yeah, like Drift did exactly what you said, which is they gave something a name, went to market with it, and it caught on. And now look, right, like when Ring DNA switched to Revenue.io, right, you have literally people going out, and it, whether it's good or bad for marketers, which is what we debate, it shows how important market message fit is now, and when you get it right, how much it catches on when it's
Good
right.
punchline.
So, awesome.
Yeah.
And then I went for a year actually to Refine Labs because I was following this guy, Chris Walker. Love the guy, and I love, you know, really what he preaches and what he was saying. But as I got in there, I really started to see the same damn thing, which is every person and customer and company is like, they're all focusing their attention on all the wrong problems. They're looking for chasing silver bullets. They're looking for that one silver bullet that's gonna drive growth for them to be a category defining company. And growth doesn't really work that way. So I started Elevate Demand this year, and just to really do things differently. A lot of our customers, we're actually around a dozen B2B SaaS companies now. More than half of them are Series A, Series B. And really what we focus on is You do not have a growth lever probably. We are going to work with you to find the combinations of things that are going to be unique for you. Those combinations of things are across market, message, channel, and product. And if you get alignment across all 4 of those pillars, you are going to have your growth lever. And that's what we do at Elevate.